Hi everybody, Emmy here again. I know it's been a little while. I've just been really busy planning my wedding with Luke. And it's been a lot. There's a lot to do. And I just got a bit caught up and I've missed my schedule. Anyway, I really enjoy making videos and I wanted to make one again. I wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about time sharing. Because it's something I find like a little bit interesting from other people with DID as well, because my situation seems to be quite unique, at least a little bit different from what I've heard from most other people with DID anyway, and I thought I would talk to you a bit about my experience. So first thing I'll explain is that I'm really lucky with my system. All of my alters understand that we are a system and that time must be shared. So, for example, Autumn doesn't want to come out because she doesn't want to be taking up somebody else's slot, if that makes sense. When given the opportunity, she will say, nope, let somebody else out. I don't want to take up their time, which is very sweet but very silly of her. Because, again, I'm also fortunate enough that my partner and my housemate, who is Nick, who is Pepper's partner, they both understand my system really well as well. So I'm really lucky. And most of the time our switches are quite sort of natural feeling. Whoever is most awake, I'll let out, I'll let them front, and I'm more than happy to take a step back for them. It's usually that way in terms of it feeling somebody's the most awake, the most conscious, and we let them out. It's not often that we will say, hey, I want this person, and then bring them forwards. So, that in mind, now I'm a bit more aware of things, including me. There's 10 of us, but there's some that are more active than others, and that sort of changes over time as well. So some alters will be more active one week and less active the next, but either way we are sharing time. And the thing is, most of the time is spent as Emily, me. Most of the time I'm out fronting, if I've got things to do, if I'm going to see people, just doing odd jobs around the house, or when I wake up in the morning, it's usually me. I might sort of feel out who's the most awake and then let them out, especially in the morning is a good time because then they get to choose what they feel most comfortable wearing. Especially if it's Ren or Felix, because then they can put a binder on. So it's good to try and feel out who's the most awake early on in the morning so that I can dress accordingly. But sometimes we don't know who's the most awake early in the morning. And it will just sort of feel more natural later on. If for the majority of the time, both people that I live with are at work, so I spend most of my time alone, and so some alters don't like being alone. And so, for example, Pepper doesn't like being alone. She prefers being around people, whereas Lucy and my newest alter, they're more than happy to spend time alone, so they still might front. When I'm alone, I don't mind who's out. I don't mind sharing. I don't mind having anybody out. My alters, can have all the time they want when I'm alone, because personally I prefer spending time with people, so I'm more than happy to share that time. So then it gets more interesting when we are with people. So for example, if Luke's home, Luke's my fiance, and so most of my alters want me to have that time with him. Especially if he's working a lot, they want me to be able to spend that time with him. The younger alters like Ashley and Peter, slightly less so. They still want me to have time with Luke, but they also want to just have their own time as well. So I'm happy, me and Luke are both happy to share that time. So the majority of the time when Luke's around, it will either be me or Felix, who is also dating Luke. So if then Nick is around, likelihood is it will be Pepper who is out. Pepper or me usually, but because again, most of my other alters say, if you're with Nick, we want you to, have the partner out that can spend time with him, because it's so fluid, and because alters might be more awake one week than the next, it means that Nick doesn't get to spend all that much time with Pepper. She's not always awake, and sometimes when she is, she's not forefront enough to take control, if that makes any sense. She's not quite able to front. So their relationship is, depends on when they can see each other. And Nick's very understanding, and he's very loving to all my alters, so he's happy. So again, it's very fluid. Whoever feels most conscious will come out, depending on, most of the time if I'm with Luke, they'll try and let it be me, and most of the time if it's Nick, they'll try and let it be Pepper. But that's not always how it works, and, we'll just have out whoever's out, Most Luke and Nick don't really mind, and we try and bear that in mind as a system. So I'm very, very lucky with that. Whoever is most active can front. So then it gets slightly more interesting if Nick and Luke are both around a lot, because then, Pepper and me both want to spend time. Usually Pepper and Nick just let me have that time, but we sort of try and weigh it up and see, who's had the most time, and it's usually just play it by ear, and usually just see who's the most comfortable, the most happy, and what just feels right in that moment. So it's not that much help or information really for you guys. It's just we play things by ear, but that really is how we do things most of the time. The other sort of interesting thing is if I have to be Emily a lot. So if I am spending a whole day with people who don't know about DID, if I'm spending a whole day, for example, going in and out of shops, or, doing tasks and jobs that I need to get done, if I have to be me, Emily, then I have to not allow my alters out. And that can in some ways almost become tiring. I don't realise it at the time, but recently I went away for the weekend, and my alters are not okay. They're not in a place to front, because people don't necessarily know about them. So when I got back, the moment I was with Luke, we were all here. We were all in the forefront of our heads. There was quite a few of us, and it was a little bit tiring because we were trying to figure out who was awake, who was going to front, and it was something that I have experienced before, but I've only really thought about recently. That when I'm with people that I have to be one way, I have to be Emily, the moment that I can let one of my alters out, a lot of them are brought forwards, and I thought that was quite interesting. I hadn't really thought about it much before, but I have experienced it in the past, but just not thought much about it. And again, Luke's very good at dealing with that, and I try and sort of keep everybody calm and happy, and let whoever is most awake, most sort of vibrant in a way, front. And then that might quite quickly change. I hope in future to do a video a little bit about what it feels like to switch. because it's kind of very difficult to explain. But anyway, so timekeeping. So when I'm with people that I have to be Emily, then obviously they have to take a step back. Now, my youngest two alters, Peter and Ashley, they are sometimes still brought forwards, even if I'm with, people that don't know about, my DID. And then Ren is really, really good at supporting them and just sort of letting them know in a comfortable way that, sorry guys, you can't come out at the moment. Ren's sort of my middle ground between me and my youngest alters. They're just really good at communicating with my youngest two a bit better than I can. And I really, really appreciate them to help me with that. So thanks, Ren. Timekeeping wise, it's just pretty fluid. I know that's not particularly interesting or helpful, but it's just how our system is. And the reason I keep saying I'm lucky and grateful is because I am aware that other systems don't always have it so easy, especially in terms of amnesia. So if I switch, I will be told or even shown visuals, like shown pictures of what my alter has been doing. Whereas I know a lot of people with DID can wake up and not know where they are, or any things like that. So it does help with timekeeping, knowing how much time my alters have spent doing things, so I'm never confused as to well, when did they do that, what time is it now, those sort of things. So I am very lucky with that, and I'm just very lucky with the way my partner and my housemate are, and I'm just grateful. So that's basically all that I can think of to share with you about how the Myriad time keeps. So yeah, I hope it wasn't just irrelevant, unhelpful. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like to, it would be awesome if you could subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I really do. Any questions at all in terms of what we've been talking about, just pop them in the comments section, and I will hopefully answer any questions or do another video. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And one of us from the Myriad will see you in the next one. Bye!